Hi guys, my name is Danielle Groves, aka Noon at Noon, and today we're going to make a bean chili con carne, all plant-based and no animals harmed in the process. So we're going to start by boiling our kettle for our rice, and then I am going to start, well, first and foremost I like to soak and rinse my rice before I boil it. It just, I don't know where the rice has been and what conditions it was stored before it got to this little packaging in my house. So therefore I really do like to, before I boil it. And I always make a little bit more for lunch or for next meal or for a munchie. So you decide how much rice you want to make depending on how big your family is. And then I'm just going to put some cold water and let that just sit there and soak while I get on with the rest of the preparations. I'm going to fry an onion. The usual. Who doesn't cook with any onions? This is really hard, peeling that onion for some reason. Okay, and then just half it. Okay, and then get your pan on. We're going to fry. Put some olive oil in there. Lovely. And then put your onions in. Just stir it up. And I've had some spring onions that are near their past by sell date, and I'm just going to chop them in as well. I don't like to throw any vegetables away if I can help it. And I've already taken off the outer skin prior to shooting this video. Chop that any way you want. Wonderful. And take these little rascals in the pan. And remember to add your salt because it helps to get all the moisture out quick enough. Then I'm going to go over and start cooking up some mushrooms. This is quite a nice and hearty meal for autumn and winter. Nice comfort food. And stick that in. Stir it through. Put some pepper on. Just turn down because you don't want to burn it or let it get too crispy, because I've yet to clean the carrots and my potato. You can put something like, you know, butternut squash or any type of root vegetable. I think it goes well in any chili con carne. And I just happen to have leftover sweet potato that I'm going to put into my chili con carne today. And I do like to put in any stew like this at least one potato, depending on how big the batches you're going to make. Steam. And then I think I'll do another carrot. Let's do potato. I love food where you can just literally stuff it all in one pot and not worry about too much. Effortless and hassle-free. Do this bad boy as well. Wonderful. Wunderbar. Let's just do the sweet potato as well. I like the sweetness the sweet potato brings to the dish. And when it cooks, it tends to disintegrate, so that you can't even see the chunks anymore, but you do have the sweet aftertaste of the sweet potato within the dish. And then I just tend to cut the potato up into little chunks, but I do like to rinse them off once I've finished it. So, okay, and then easy does it. And I just take this like so. Not too big so that they cook easy, nice and easy. They don't have to be perfect little chunks. Just little mouthfuls. Wonderful. So you want to get that into the pot as quickly as possible, because there's nothing as horrible as you wanting to eat and your potatoes are still very much raw within the pan. Just stir that through. Just to leave that in a little bit. And then chop sweet potato. Wonderful. Stir that through. This you. And then what I'm going to do is, normally I do like in a chili con carne a tin of sweet corn, but I didn't have any tins today, and I did happen to have like 2 fresh corn on the cobs, and I've already done one earlier, so I'm just going to cut the corn down and then put that in my stew or mixture as well. Beautiful. So let's get that in. Stir it through. And as you can see, it's a nice big batch, because I do love to cook for more than just dinner, because that would be a lifesaver tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon for lunch, or maybe the next day's lunch. Who knows? Who knows? And then normally I would use tin tomatoes, but before I get to that, let me just quickly get the rice on. So I'm going to drain the rice. Easy does it. And I always do it like that with the lid, because I like a no mess, no fuss solution. I don't want to make something else dirty just to drain the rice. And then you pour hot water on your rice. Make sure that it's nicely submerged. Because I tend to cook my rice for like 20 minutes, and I know well enough now how to eyeball my rice and what the ratio of water should be. And some salt in. Ratio of water to rice should be, and then just keep an eye on it, but you want to get that going as soon as possible. And then, where was I? I normally use 10 tomatoes for my tomato base, but I had leftover tomatoes that were also nearing their pass by sell date, and I quickly roasted them in some olive oil and salt last night. And I'm going to use these little rascals now for my tomato base within my chili con carne. And I will see if they are enough. I may have to add, additional just to my mixture, but let's see. And then a nice scoop of smoked paprika. That's going to really bring out the smokiness and the goodiness of our chili con carne. Some tomato puree. You just eyeball it, do what feels good. Some pepper. And then the obligatory Tabasco. And some garlic. And a pinch of red wine. And just a little bit of mirin. I always put mirin in everything, especially becoming plant-based. I used to always use Worcester sauce for everything, but there's anchovies in Worcester sauce, so I'm not using Worcester sauce. So my go-to is mirin or soy sauce or rice vinegar to help me with, you know, marinades or anything like that. And then make sure your lid is on before you turn the power on. Beautiful. Oh, yummy. Fresher than this you can't get, seriously. And it feels so satisfying to be able to make stuff like this yourself. You know, and it feels like an accomplishment that you're actually taking good care of yourself. It's always a nice feeling, isn't it? Then just stir it through. And I'm also going to be adding my beans now. So you can literally use any bean you want. I'm literally just using what I had in my larder. And this is a tin of black beans. Clearly you can use dried beans and then just soak it overnight. But tonight, being a work day, I just want to get on with it, and tinned beans is my go-to for something like this. For a quick and easy dinner. This is a tin of red kidney beans, and then I'm going to put a tin of cannelloni beans in. Oh, this tin opener is the best tin opener in the whole wide world. Oh no, I've spoken too soon. Really, it is a really good tin opener. I always love using it, so. And it was fairly cheap as well. So let's see how I'm going to get these bad boys out. There we go. And then the beauty of this is, clearly you think, goodness me, how many people are you going to feed? Is you can put this in a container and freeze it and have it for whenever you don't feel like cooking, and then just make a little bit of rice to go with it. And just look how beautiful it is. Right, now would be the ideal moment. I just want to get a little bit more onion salt. Lost my onion salt. Now would be the ideal moment just to give it a tongue tippy test to see if you need any more seasoning. And it's got a little nice little kick in there. I'm just going to put a little bit more salt. Wonderful. And then this can just now do its thing and gently stew. And then what you can do is, in the meantime, I've got some runner beans I also want to put in there. You know, once again, these were leftover runner beans, and why not? And I like to cut for stews like this into smaller pieces, as opposed to keeping them whole or just halving them. And then also just keep an eye on your rice. You don't want to boil it over. It's a bigger pain in the neck to clean the hob than to keep your eye on the rice, I found. Then just stir it through and you can see all the colors makes it feel really alive. And then I just want to put the lid on because let the steam do the rest for me. And then just turn off the heat slightly because I don't want to be out of sync with when my rice is done and stew is done. And then I also have my dish with. And let's just clean this up. Just take the big pieces out. There are a few bolted ones in there. And I'm not going to chop these up for once. I'm just going to put them nice and whole over the dish once it's served. And then what I can do is maybe chop up once again a little bit of a leftover chili I had to garnish it. Pour the bean on. Okay, so now it's just having the patience and to wait and let all the water evaporate. Okay, so the bean chili con carne, or rather bean stews, stewing away on the hob for about 25 minutes, and all the water is now nicely evaporated. I did add a little bit of cornstarch and cold water, 2 tablespoons of cornstarch mixed into cold water and poured it into this just to thicken the sauce a little bit. And now it's time to dish up, and as per usual I like to add always to any dish of mine fresh baby spinach leaves, just so that you can feel a bit victorious that you've got some uncooked veg in as well. It's always good to eat your greens. And then let's dish up. You know, and I'll dish up the bean stew right over the top of the spinach leaves, because then it goes nice and wilted. And then just have a nice, you can see how nice and gloopy it is. And look, there's no sign of the sweet potato. It's completely disintegrated within your mixture or your stew. Oh, the smell is amazing. Wonderful. Then I can switch the stove off and then garnish it with a little bit of fresh coriander, just to make it look pretty, and it does taste good as well. And then a little bit of chili. And voila, that's it. There you have your bean stew. Doesn't it look absolutely delicious? All cooked in about 40 minutes tops. Not bad for a weekday. Have a good evening. See you soon. Oh my god, that was seriously the best chili con carne I've had ever. And I think it's really down to the homemade tomato-based sauce that I've put in it. anything that you can do homemade just bumps up the taste and flavor of any meal.